Hello traders, Ilya here and welcome to the Weekly Outlook and Setups Volume 8. If you're new to the channel or you're viewing my videos for the first time, hit that subscribe button if you don't want to miss the upcoming educational content and much more. So let's start analyzing the week ahead. As always, we're starting from the US dollar currency index. So we had a little bit of an indecision week, but with spike to the upside indicating selling pressure. The last 2 weeks were actually with spikes to the upside, and the previous one closed as bearish Marubozu. So I am more bearish biased than bullish, and we still have this very strong demand area here, which will serve as potential take profit or just a supportive region. So switching down to the daily time frame, we have this kind of an evening star, but not very visible and nicely formed. So the last day was with wick to the upside, again selling pressure. We had this lower high formation here, kind of step down, and from the previous price action, yeah, it's actually kind of a triangle forming right now. So looking at this, I will mark this higher low formation of this uptrend here. So this is the higher low. We failed to make a new higher high, retested the higher low, found support, and right now we're in this middle range. So I would expect a nice break of this trend line and a retest of the higher low, which will be more visible on the 4-hourly. As you can see, I have ascending trend line, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, kind of pierced through it. We thought that it was going to continue down after this massive sell-off here, but we found support and pushed to the upside. The last price action is we had this very nice long left doji rejection from this lower high structure here. As you can see, low, lower high, lower low, and now we're retesting the lower high. So what I'm expecting is a continuation to break this trend line, which will confirm my sell bias, a retest of it, and then we can look for potential targets. Euro USD is our next pair. Looking at it on the weekly time frame, I can see 2 weeks of consolidation, barely any volume. I think we didn't manage to move even 100 pips. Yes, 90. So it's hard to get any bias from the weekly time frame. We had this bearish candle, kind of bearish engulf, but it's not strong. It found support at 1.12. So we're currently stuck in a range in between 1.1280 and 1.12. So dropping down to the daily, we can even see it clearer. So we kind of had a violation of this structure here. Retest later, failure to make a new lower low here. So we're still staying above this daily higher low. And so it's hard to tell for now the bias because we're in this range. We haven't broken below the higher low of the daily time frame. On the 4-hourly, we were bearish, but right now we're failing to make any lower lows again. So yeah, so about opportunities, I would definitely wait for a break of 112, a retest back, and which will actually break this daily higher low, and so we will be reversing even on the daily, because right now we can just tap this 1180 level and we can continue up to make a new higher high on the daily time frame. So waiting patiently if we have a nice and strong break below without any wicks, or if we kind of break this barrier here, this resistance region, and we have a retest of it. So staying away from EU. Maybe if we have some major movements, I haven't checked the news, but yeah, waiting for a breakout on EU. Aussie dollar weekly time frame, what can we see? We had this week closing as kind of rejection from the upside, indicating selling pressure. So we may have some kind of a pullback into the beginning of the next week. So I think we're currently trading in a downtrend with this weekly trend line. Yeah, and we actually found support at it. This here may be a daily structure of resistance. And this is our weekly support down here at 0.69 or 0.6860. So let's switch down to the daily time frame. No bias from the weekly. Looking at it, simple trend line here, bullish structure, break of the highs, and now coming back for a retest. But yeah, we're currently encountering this very strong weekly and daily trend line. Yes, this is our structure of resistance right now. So if we manage to break, close below, retest the trend line and this structure, our next target will be these highs at 0.72. Perfect target level, key round number. So we had this very massive bullish candle and immediate return, which kind of indicates selling pressure, as I already said. Let's see the 4-hourly. We have a inner trend line here, as I can see. Okay, so we will be testing it right now. I would expect with this selling pressure, I would expect a break of the trend line in order to induce some more sellers that are already selling with this rally down. But if we manage to break the trend line, there will be more. But as long as we stay above this higher low, we will be buy bias on this market. So EMA support here. This is this here is a minor support as well. EMA is right here. So I will be watching at 70.20 for any form of rejection, wicks, 1-hour price action, 4-hour rejections, daily closures. But yeah, we're currently sitting in a crucial area, weekly trend line, daily resistance. So I am buy bias and I will be waiting for this pullback here. Or if it doesn't show any signs, I will wait for this breakout, which will confirm the uptrend, and then I will be waiting for a new higher low to join the trend. That's on Aussie. A quick look on Aussie dollar JPY, because I have a short trade running on the pair. So we have 3 weeks of consolidation, spikes to the downside, spikes to the upside after this massive rally here. I would expect some kind of a bigger pullback, maybe to a weekly fib level, up to the 61.8%, but I am just in a short-term 4-hour setup. So that's the daily. Here I have this supply area, as you can see, support, break, resistance, multiple taps here. Then we enter the zone again and boom, massive sell pressure. So we're back at it again. We formed this daily evening star, confirming my bias, and I just waited for a final tap where I entered my short. I had a nice confirmation on the 4-hourly, those two 4-hour rejections with a very nice wicks to the upside. So I entered 2 trades. The first one was after the formation of those 2 candles, I just went in with momentum down. And the second one is when I got a wick fill of those 2 candles and I got a more kind of aggressive and sniper entry at the top. So I'm expecting a pullback at least to this higher low here, or lower low, I would call it, because we violated this kind of here of higher low, minor higher lows. We broke them and now we're retesting for a double top of this structure. So I'm expecting a continuation down, as I do on Aussie dollar. As we analyzed, I would expect a little bit of more of a bearish action before we break above. So I will be closely monitoring, because we're the price action is actually very choppy. But yeah, we can have a nice sell-off first before we break this level, this supply area, and we fulfill the weekly Fibonacci levels. Having a look at UJ on the weekly time frame, we can see this candle closing as indecision, spike down, spike up, nothing really major. So we're in this kind of a push phase. We are making a new lower low. So we should be looking for buys, but let's see on the daily time frame to examine more. So first of all, we have this trend line here that was violated. We can adjust it like that. Let's see. So we have this daily low here. And see how here price made a new lower low, broke this structure. Let me just make it like that. Broke this structure here, returned for a perfect retest where we would expect a continuation down. But we failed, we broke above, we retested perfectly, almost perfectly, and we had a new higher high. So this is a confusing situation because you don't know what to expect. So we then had another push down to retest this zone. We found massive support from it with this candle, but then boom, we had a slight pullback and we created a new lower low. So we may be currently in a accumulation phase before we push back up and start forming new highs, because we were in this downtrend and now we may be reversing. So having a quick look at the 4-hourly, we have very clear sales structure. We are, let me delete this, we are breaking the lows, this low here, break, new lower high, break of this, retest, perfect retest, new lower low, and now we're retesting this lower high, perfectly founding resistance here. And I would expect right now another lower low to the daily support region, where we would look for a riskier buys with a bigger stop loss below, and we can target a massive trade up because we can reverse the long-term trade, as we are currently in this accumulation phase, I would call it, because it's very confusing and it's not trending in a nicely trending market, but it's constantly shifting the structure. So closely monitoring this. I think we still have one short opportunity left to the 107 key level. That's on UJ. USD Swiss franc, a very interesting pair recently, as we had this break of this major weekly trend line. We broke it, we perfectly retested it, and now we'll be testing all of the trend line support. So we had a bearish wick with rejection to the upside. It was kind of a pullback after this bearish candle, so I am sell biased on this pair for sure. Looking at the daily time frame, I can immediately see a head and shoulders formation here, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, perfect evening star formation, where we can take a longer term short, targeting the first supportive region, and then we can target even a massive trade. So daily time frame, evening star formation, break of this structure here of the neckline, retest maybe on the 4-hourly. Yeah, it's just perfect. We had this final push here to tap and fill this wick here. So the structure is very bearish, very nicely trending market. We are breaking the structures, retesting perfectly, and I am very sell biased on that. About opportunities, I think we already missed that, so I would just draw my support level and I would wait for a clear break, clear retest for a new lower high. And as for targets, I will be targeting those major support levels while closely monitoring the price action for any reversal signs or so. So very nice opportunity on USD Swiss franc. Make sure to monitor it, and if I see something interesting, I will share it with you on my Telegram channel. Wrapping up this week's video with a final look of GBP USD and Euro GBP. So I think we're finally starting to reverse. We're monitoring this very closely for the last couple of weeks. So this week we had another push down, breaking all these lows here of this very nice week, where we expected a bullish continuation and in morning star formation forming. So I'm bullish bias. That's a reversal trade. On the daily time frame, we can see a morning star formation, perfect one, but we're still staying above this daily lower high. So let me see for some trend lines. We can plot one like this. So patiently waiting again for a break above and a retest. Let me see what do we have on the 4-hourly. We actually have a perfect opportunity here, seeing it immediately. We have a shift of structure again. As you can see here, we broke this kind of a lower high formation here. We failed to continue down. We had this massive rejection, boom, break, retest, perfect long opportunity here, push up, kind of a minor higher low here, again push up, and now we're testing this region here of the last higher low. We're rejecting it perfectly, so I am quite interested in taking a long from here with this massive, well, that was massive, maybe news inflicted. So about entries, I would definitely wait for some more downside. Maybe if we feel this week at the beginning of the week, maybe test this level I just draw, stop loss below. We can even be most secure if our stop loss is below this higher low formation, and I would be targeting a break of, yeah, my first target will be at the top of this, and if we manage to break, I will be holding this for the long term, because I think we will be reversing nicely and we will have some very nice longer term targets. Quick look at EG weekly time frame. Again, that is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 weeks of bullish price action and massive spikes to the upside. Imagine how many people got caught after entering short in these areas with this massive wick here, kind of penetrating here this supply zone. So bearish bias on this for sure. Evening star formation here. On GU we have morning star, kind of breaking this structure here but finding support. So immediately seeking for our higher low. Here it is. So again, I will be patiently waiting for a break of it, clear retest, and I can then watch to swing this trade back to the downside. Let's just have a quick look at the 4-hourly. Yep, we had kind of a double top here, break of it, no retests, and kind of a minor lower high here with this week, a nice short opportunity here. So we're finding support at the daily higher low, waiting patiently. If we manage to retest again this higher low, a lower high, sorry, I would be waiting for a short trade. So that's for this week. Plenty of opportunities available for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, found something very useful. If you did, hit that subscribe button, because it would really help me and it would really mean a lot to me. So looking forward to the next week. Have a profitable week and see you soon.